Alright guys, Forsaken finally revealed so much more for the Azure update, including real Azure gameplay, potential complete UI overhaul, and even more. Let's get into it! It's honestly crazy that after all this time, we're finally getting to see actual Azure gameplay. Forsaken recently released a brand new sneak peek showing off one of Azure's abilities, and from what we can tell, it takes place on the brand new map coming alongside the update. The map itself appears to be based an area in the spawn code of a garden and could be where Time originally betrayed and killed Azure, which we've needed for a long time. Not only that, but public testing for Azure has now officially begun, meaning players have started spotting him in-game and sharing footage of his abilities. One of the first things people noticed is how Azure's kit revolves around plants and combos. We already knew about the plant ability shown in previous teasers, but we now know it works together with another ability where Azure can grapple survivors and throw them directly into another survivor or towards his plant, with this also causing the plant to grab onto them while they try to run away from it, also creating pressure on multiple players at once. It gives him a very unique playstyle compared to other killers currently in the game. As for his stats, Azure's basic attack deals 27 damage, although that damage appears to decrease when players are repeatedly hit. We also got our first look at a brand new status effect called the Trooper. Whenever survivors interact with Azure's plants, they build up this effect. The higher the Atropa level becomes, the more dangerous Azure, forcing survivors to manage the status effect while also trying to survive. One of the biggest surprises, however, is Azure's Golem. It seems like it is a mini Sixer where Azure can summon a massive creature that appears whenever certain abilities are used. The Golem is enormous, almost rivaling Sixer's size, and comes equipped with multiple attacks including a ground pound, a slam attack, and even a projectile. Azure can swap between controlling himself and the Golem, creating some really interesting gameplay opportunities. While the Golem only remains active for a short time, it can become enraged and deal even more damage before disappearing. Azure also comes with a custom kill animation with Time, where he finally gets revenge for the betrayal by wrapping Time in his tentacles before finishing him off. On top of that, Azure receives a completely new intro and outro, both of which look incredibly polished. One of the best things coming to this update is that many of Azure's skins are actually community creations. Isaac has confirmed that several concepts submitted by players are now becoming official skins, with contributors helping bring them into the game. With public testing now underway, it feels like Azure is finally getting close. The devs mainly need feedback and balancing before release, meaning the update could arrive very soon. After months of waiting, are you finally ready for Azure to arrive in Forsaken? One thing that absolutely nobody expected Forsaken to start looking at is a complete UI overhaul. Ever since the game's release, the in-game interface has remained mostly unchanged, with only a few adjustments here and there. However, Cacklebox has now shown off several concepts for what a future UI rework could potentially look like, and players seem to have a lot of opinions on it. A poll was recently held asking if people would like to see the in-round UI reworked. The results showed that while people do want a rework, they mostly want a few tweaks here and there rather than changing everything too much. Bunch of new UI features which showed off a lot of changes, including having a newer countdown timer alongside a list of current objectives. This could become even more useful once the Azure update releases, especially if future characters introduce new objectives beyond simply repairing generators and surviving. The ability layout has also been redesigned. While the actual ability icons would likely remain the same, your passive ability is also displayed, making it much easier to understand exactly what your character can do during a match. Another major improvement is the stamina and health system. Instead of having the stamina bar in the bottom left, it now appears beside your character. The bar is actually for your health, which changes color as it decreases. One of the most useful additions is the new updates log. This system displays important events happening during the match in real time, allowing players to quickly see what is happening to survivors. Alongside this, the player list has been moved to the top left, but is still customizable to change the layout you want. Another feature added was the ability descriptions directly in-game. Rather than checking character profiles, players can simply read a short description explaining what their abilities do during a match. The concepts also introduce improvements to achievements, XP notifications, and communication. Instead of achievements and XP rewards stacking on top of each other and cluttering the screen, they now fade out smoothly as new notifications appear. There is also a brand new communication wheel that allows players to send pings and requests for help, making teamwork much easier. According to Cacklebox, many of these features would be fully customizable. Players could adjust icon sizes, survivor layouts, and even toggle features such as the 3D health bar on or off depending on their preferences. Mobile players would also likely receive their own dedicated version of the UI rather than simply receiving a direct copy of the PC version. While some players think the clock should remain in the middle of the screen and others aren't sold on the survivor activity tracker, most people agree that these concepts are incredibly well made and would be a huge improvement over the current interface. Would you want to see something like this added to the game? For a long time, many players assumed the update had either been delayed indefinitely or quietly scrapped. There are still so many cool kid-related content that Forsaken has teased throughout the year but never fully released. With players still waiting for the milestone for Chase theme for such a long time, many people now think this update could finally bring it into the game. Not only that, but this could also potentially overhaul Cool Kids milestone skins entirely. Right now, most players only use the milestone for skin because it is by far the most unique looking version with the hood. If the developers redesigned the earlier milestone skins to look more detailed and connected, it would finally give players an actual reason to use the other milestones as well instead of only sticking to milestone 4. There are also several unreleased Cool Kid skins. Another major skin is the Purple Guy Cool Kid skin. Even though we have not heard much from Alexis Funny recently, the skin itself has still received multiple updates behind the scenes without ever officially releasing. On top of that, Savior Cool Kid is also expected to receive a completely new chase theme. Players also noticed that the mysterious wave logo itself almost looks like it has an arm similar to Cool Kid's arm design. There was even a recent distorted chase theme teaser that many people believe could belong to either Milestone 3 or Milestone 4. We could even finally see Aberrant Cool Kid appear again after being shown off previously and then disappearing completely afterward, but that's just speculation. There was also a feature shown off recently that started off as a joke, but has quickly turned into something many players actually want to see added to the game. The idea revolves around Noli and one of his abilities. Endoran showed Noli using his M1 against Guest, but creating a fake animation that baited Guest into wasting his block ability. Forsaken News decided to do a poll asking players whether this should actually become a real feature. And surprisingly, a large number of people voted yes. Many fans believe it would fit Noli's character perfectly. Since Noli is known for being a trickster, having the ability to fake out opponents seems like a natural extension of his playstyle. Others simply think it would be hilarious to watch guest players waste their block because they got tricked by a fake attack animation. Some players have also argued that Guest's rework have made him one of the strongest sentinels in the game, meaning having a counterplay option isn't necessarily a bad thing. However, not everyone is convinced. One of the biggest criticisms is that the feature appears to exist almost entirely to counter a single survivor. Many players are questioning why Noli would receive a mechanic specifically designed to punish guests, rather than receiving a larger rework that benefits him across all matchups. Others have pointed out that if the feature were added, it shouldn't be limited to guests alone. Instead, they believe it could potentially work against other survivors by baiting out their abilities as well. So this update is changing everything in Forsaken. Are you excited for it to finally release? Subscribe and hit the bell for more Forsakening it.